Continuing our coverage of the Scouting Combine 2020 in Indianapolis. Joining us now, a guy whose team has come a long way in just a few years. He's Brian Gutekunst, General Manager of the Green Bay Packers. Congratulations on the success, and thanks again for some of your time.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Way to go, Goody.
Hey, one thing that really impressed me after the season ended, Aaron Rodgers going on and on about how fun the season was and praising you for bringing in leaders, guys like Zadarius Smith, Mercedes Lewis. Not a guy that you'd really think of as this guy's a high-value free agent. Does a lot for the Green Bay Packers. So, I mean, it just feels like things are clicking. From your perspective, how does it feel like things are actually going?
Yeah, I think, obviously being Matt LaFleur's first year, I think we had some culture things we needed to do. I think that was part of our offseason last year, was kind of focusing a little bit on that and trying to bring a little bit of a different culture, a little different vibe in the building. And Matt and his staff did a great job with part of that. But as we all know, culture really comes from your leaders on your football team, the players. And I think the thing that I was most excited about was just how they bought in to what we were doing and kind of put those things ahead of their personal things. And that carried us a long way.
It really seemed like it did. I mean, I am amazed at LaFleur's leadership ability and all that. I just want to tell, when the Audible thing came out, were you like, oh gosh, here we go? What was the feeling in the building at that time?
Well, it's like a lot of things that there wasn't, from our perspective, there was really nothing to it. But
right.
That with a new head coach in our situation last year, there was going to be some of these things. We were going to have to weather some of that. And again, I think it's really a credit to Matt, the players, and how they handled those situations, because those things could turn into bigger things, and they didn't allow that to happen.
And it's a credit to Matt because, look, the offense works a certain way, but you've got access to Aaron Rodgers.
Right.
So even if the offense limits what discretion the quarterback has, it's Aaron Rodgers. He can do whatever he wants to do, and we saw the results.
Right. Well, I think, the best coaches, really in any sport, they're going to know what their players can and can't do, and they're going to tailor it to what they're good at. And I think Matt did a really nice job, not only with Aaron, but with our entire team, of kind of fitting what we could do and going that way. So, there's only so many good football players out there, and when you have a chance to take them and acquire them, you want to. And if their skill set is a little different maybe than scheme, I think you got to go that route. And I think our coaching staff did a hell of a job with that this year. So.
Well, you personally deserve some of that credit. I mean, of course, you were a part of LaFleur. And then we got to talk about the two studs you signed on the defensive side of the ball. I mean, there's just years of, the Packers don't get into free agency. And you've killed it here. Yeah. Talk about Zadarius and Preston and kind of what they brought to your football team.
Well, obviously they're pass rushers, right? And this is in this league, that's really important. And I think everything that we kind of saw in those guys last spring, we thought they were heading into their prime, and they certainly proved that. I think they both had their best year of football this year, and we think that there's still room for growth. But we made a concerted effort. We signed 4 guys. And we thought we needed to do that for our football team, and certainly on defense, it really impacted us, tremendously. Not only those 2 guys, but Adrian Amos as well. And then, to solidify our offensive line. I mean, our offensive line was pretty healthy the entire way. Billy Turner came in, Elton Jenkins came in, and really solidified our offensive line and made a lot of things go. So, but in a bigger picture thing, the leadership those 2 guys brought, and the accountability they brought was really important for us to get to where we were trying to go.
Yeah.
So.
Do you know that, though, when you target these guys, that you're getting yourself great leaders? Is there a way to figure that out ahead of time, or you just got lucky?
You know what? You do a lot of work, and you lose a lot of our scouts do a great job, trying to find these things out. But at the end of the day, you don't really ever know when you bring a player into your building exactly how they're going to react. It's a new environment. It's different players around them. So there's a part of it that is just good fortune, but it's really a credit to those guys because they got paid and they could have taken that a couple of different ways.
Yeah.
And they never stopped working. They fought through things. They fought through the little things that you always worry about when you pay a guy. Are they going to still do those kind of things to be great? And they really seize their opportunity. So there's some good fortune. You never really know, but I am proud of our staff and kind of gathering that information. We had a good sense that might be how it unfolded.
Yeah. All right. I'd like to shift to the combine just for a second.
Sure.
Because it's different this year. It's different for us. I know it's different for you. From a GM, a football guy who's been around this so long, what's the plus, the positives and negatives about this new format we're going?
So far it's just a couple days into it so far. We had our first meetings last night. The meetings, we have a few extra minutes. There's less of them, but there's not 15 in a row. Sometimes when you get to those 15 interviews in a row, you try to remember what the first 2 were.
Right.
There's more time, I think, to kind of get to reflect and kind of like actually take in what just happened.
Yeah.
Because I think we had 6 last night, we have 9 tonight. So I like that part of it.
Right.
A little bit more time to spend with the players. Early on here, there's been a little bit more pockets for us to kind of digest some stuff. But so far so good. I know that the informal interviews I've heard, I haven't been down there, but I've heard have gone well. A little bit more organized. So far I think the changes have been really positive. Ask me at the end of the week. We'll see.
Yeah, right.
But
you think this workouts at prime time and thing is going to be a good thing? Does that disrupt your life at all in any way?
Not for me. I wonder sometimes how the players are going to feel about sitting around all day before they go out and test.
Right.
I think optimally you want to do that sometime mid-morning.
Yeah.
So that'll be interesting to kind of see the choices they make. But for us in our process so far, it hasn't really changed anything.
Well, your CEO, Mark Murphy, is a member of the competition committee. I'm exploring the rumor that he's trying to ensure that the Packers never have to play in California again after what happened last year.
Yeah,
Looking back on that, what do you do organizationally? Because we had Zadarius Smith at the Super Bowl, and he was candid.
Right.
I wasn't ready to play in the Super Bowl or in the NFC Championship game at San Francisco. I had teammates who weren't ready. There was the loss to the Chargers in L.A., the 2 losses to San Francisco. What do you do when you look back at last year to try to figure that out going forward? Because you got to go back to Santa Clara this year and may have to go back to the West Coast in the postseason.
Yeah, I think you always evaluate everything. I think during the course of the year, I think we went out there a couple days early in one occasion and changed it up. And I think you're always looking to tweak to see if you can help your players perform. But at the end of the day, these guys are professional football players, right? And so it's a lot on them, too, to be ready to play. We're going to give them all the resources we can and try to, have the schedules and things that make it work. But at the end of the day, they're pro ball players, and they got to be ready to play no matter what the circumstances are. And, I think we just had, obviously was, the teams we played out in California are pretty good teams, and we didn't have our best days. But it's something we'll look at. But at the end of the day, I think it's a National Football League. You got to be ready to play no matter what circumstance kind of is put before you.
Would you, as a GM, prefer the draft before free agency, or do you like the way it is right now? Because I know I have some friends, and we've talked to a few coaches over the last few years who said they would kind of rather it be that way.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. I know you're a guy that's this is the way it is, and you just keep going forward.
Right.
But is there any truth to that, you think?
Yeah, I haven't put a lot of thought into that, but I think with the draft, the way we've always looked at it, it's a long-term investment.
Yeah.
You got to be careful about trying to fill needs through the draft.
Right.
So I don't know if it really would change a whole lot about how we approach it.
Okay. Right. All right, that's good. All right, one more combine one for you, because I know you're a historian in a lot of ways. Like, give me one guy, workout-wise, where you just were like, I can't believe what I just saw over the years. Anybody that you put in that short list of like Goody's Hall of Fame in the workout? Yeah,
the one that just immediately stands out is Byron Jones' broad jump.
That's right.
If you've ever had a chance to watch it, it's
insane.
Yeah, you have to watch it a bunch of times to see if it's real.
Right.
But there's obviously been some. Some pretty impressive performances. I think John Ross's 40, a couple of years ago was,
right.
But Byron Jones's broad jump was something I'll never forget.
Yeah, we were talking about it earlier.
Who stunned you the most that didn't pan out based on what you saw out of him in the combine? A guy that you're like, hey, this guy's a star, and it just didn't work out all time.
Yeah, that's tough.
He's not going to let us know. He's never missed a player ever.
Yeah, right,
He's the GM of the Packers, right?
It doesn't have to be a guy he drafted. Just anybody. Anybody that you saw and thought, this guy's going to be a superstar, and it just didn't work out. Like a Mike Mamula type of a guy.
Yeah, that's I'm just kind of drawing a blank right now. But it's I've had plenty of swings and whiffs, so there's no doubt about it.
Yeah, you're going to have it.
Isn't that amazing, though? That's the thing about this process. No matter how much time is spent, no matter how much money is allocated to it, at the end of the day, it's still a crapshoot. Why is that?
I think you're dealing with human beings, and like we touched on it earlier, we were talking about the free agents. They're super successful in their environment that they're in, and when you take them out of that environment, so many things change for them, and how they go about it. Is it the same drive? Was the destination to be drafted?
Yeah,
there's so many things that, and we do all this work, and you think it would be a little bit better odds, but it's just not. And obviously, there's injury factors too that I think nobody looks back and realizes that there's a lot of injury things that really prevent these guys from reaching their potential. But I think it's human beings, and it's we always talk about if if you're batting 300, you're probably doing pretty good.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, you brought up a point that I think about a lot, and because I had players in my Texas team like this, their goal was to get to Texas.
Right.
They never thought of the NFL.
Right.
When you have an interview with a guy like that, where he's like, "Oh, my goal was just to get to you," is that a little bit alarming?
Oh, yeah, sure.
It is for sure.
Yeah, I think you're always looking for their driver.
Yeah.
Like why they do what they do, and if their driver was to get to the NFL,
right,
and that's it.
You feel like they got it.
Yeah. So.
Right.
But yeah, there's also so many instances of guys that you never thought had a chance to make it because of whether it's off the field stuff or whatever, and they do. So I think you try to take each individual player and kind of figure out how they're going to fit with your club,
right,
and if our environment is the right environment for them, and so forth.
Yeah.
Last one for you. Aaron Rodgers was phenomenal this year.
Yeah.
Wrong side of 35. How long do you think he's going to be able to keep playing at this level?
Yeah, I hope he outlasts me. You know what I mean? Like, if he could continue to play at the level he's playing at, I think you're seeing obviously Drew Brees, Tom Brady go to level, to ages that we haven't seen before, and with the way Aaron takes care of his body, with the physical gifts that he has, I mean, he's throwing the ball as well as ever, and I think he's pretty rejuvenated a little bit, and I'm excited for him to go as long as he can go. People have asked me a lot over the last couple of days about, would you take a quarterback? And of course we would, because we're always in the quarterback business. But we got one of the best in the business ever done it.
Yeah.
And, we're going to ride that as long as we can,
Ride it. Oh, Aaron Rodgers.
It really was amazing, though, to hear him after a playoff loss, season's over, and he went on and on about how it's fun again.
Yeah.
And who knows how far it can carry him. You're right. Tom Brady's 42, Drew Brees is 41, and Aaron Rodgers showed no sign whatsoever of slipping.
Yeah.
This guy can keep singing the Aaron Rodgers
singing my song. It's one of my favorite jams.
He'll outlive all of us. All right, thanks, Brian Gutekunst, Packers GM. We appreciate some of your time and all the best moving forward.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys.
You're the man, Goody.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.